Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to our March board meeting. Our board has already finished a productive informal session. We heard from Athletic Director Kathy Borgard on many aspects of the athletic department and intercollegiate athletics. We also appreciated hearing from Provost Jennifer Bott and Vice President Terry Kenzie on the aspect of interdisciplinarity through academics and the research at Western. And I would like to begin by asking Secretary Schuman if we have a quorum for today's meeting.
Chair Chen Zhang, if we could hold for just a second, we've received indication that we might be having issue with sound. So if you don't mind, let's hold for just a second until I can get
okay. Sure.
Is that we're functioning properly here. Chair Chen Zhang, I was able to confirm we do have audio. We do have a quorum, and I also just confirmed that we are streaming live with YouTube, so the meeting is official. Thank you.
Okay, good. Do I need to repeat what I just said, or can we continue on? That was going to be my next question. Do we have the technology that we are using to live stream this meeting?
And the response is yes. We are streaming live and ready to go.
Okay, terrific. And at this time, would like to call on the board for a motion to accept today's agenda, please.
So moved. Support.
Thank you. Motion passed. Are there any comments from our trustees concerning our January 21st meeting minutes? Hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion for approval, please.
So moved.
Support.
So moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passed. I'm looking forward to the presentation today from Vice President Diane Anderson about the critical work that Western's frontline healthcare workers have taken on throughout the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. Like their peers across the country and around the world, those dedicated professionals have worked tirelessly to care for the campus community, and we are in their debt. To Dr. Gail Ruggiero, her entire staff, and everyone who is contributing to this effort, thank you. And for all the very important work that you have been doing. We're fortunate at Western to have employees across our campus who have gone above and beyond throughout the pandemic. From the custodial staff that keeps every corner of the university clean, to the facilities crews that keep everything running, to the dining services teams, that list goes on, and so does our gratitude for their work. And thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. So before I preview what's on our agenda for today, I would like to take a moment to address a heavier topic. Since early on in the COVID-19 pandemic, when we learned about the cases of the virus in China, there have been reports of discrimination against individuals of Asian descent across the country and the world, as you're aware. During the past year, we have even heard accounts of violence. That's not tolerable here or anywhere else. We stand united in our rejection of discrimination and harassment of any kind targeting any people. We can do better as a society to fight racism in all its forms, and we must do better. Thank you for all your efforts in this front. While we do not have any action items on our agenda today, we will be considering several consent items related to future meeting dates, a curriculum proposal, a personnel topic, and several fiduciary items. And as usual, we will welcome presentations from our shared governance partners. We have a full agenda today, and to begin, I would like to ask President Montgomery to share his remarks with the board and those in attendance. President Montgomery, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Chair Zhang. As Lynn noted, we'll be hearing a little bit later from Vice President Diane Anderson as part of today's meetings. He'll be sharing with us an overview of the work from our frontline healthcare workers that they've been carrying out over the course of the past year. I want to join with the Board of Trustees and the university community in extending our deep gratitude and admiration for the incredible dedication that individuals have demonstrated throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. From the work to set up and carry out rapid response testing to implementing the use of telehealth care for members of our community. Our medical director, Dr. Gail Ruggiero, and her entire team have responded to the needs to protect our health and of our faculty, staff, and students in an admirable way. They have done this while continuing to provide primary care as well as counseling services for our student body. I really want to go and say thank you for their ongoing efforts. I also want to recognize the Western's COVID Rapid Response Team. This is an effort led by Kara Woods, our Associate Vice President for Community Partnerships and a FEMA certified emergency manager. It's her, Dr. Ruggiero, and Lieutenant Andrew Bachman of the WMU Department of Public Safety. This team hit the ground running last year by collaborating with public health leaders from the state and county level, monitoring protocols, executive orders, developing plans to enable the campus to maintain essential services, and sharing updates with the entire community. The work is not complete because we're not out of the pandemic, but they are very deserving of our appreciation for helping us get to where we are today. Speaking of COVID response efforts, I recently had the opportunity to visit with the Kalamazoo County Health and Community Services Departments at their vaccination site at the Expo Center with Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist. I spoke to him about our ongoing efforts and challenges related to the pandemic, our pride in the work of our frontline healthcare professionals, and at the locations, at our locations, and to note with pride our partnership and participation with the Bronson's College of Nursing students team, helping to provide both administrative support and giving vaccinations and monitoring individuals pre and post vaccines. Not to mention, of course, our medical school is also participating in those efforts as well. So Western's public health students have really been gaining valuable real-world experience out of this by participating and partnering with the Center for Disease Control on a study of masks, the Mask Adherence Surveillance Program at College and Universities Project. The CDC selected 60 universities from across the country to participate, and it was intended to determine what's the percentage of participation by individuals and whether masks are being worn correctly. The work yielded some incredibly positive results about our campus, where we found that 99% of our population was in compliance with mask use and 94% were using the mask correctly. So much to be proud of in that regard. I wanted to share a brief update on a couple of other university efforts that are underway. First, Western Michigan is serious about removing barriers to greater diversity and addressing systemic racism. In response, we've established 2 institutional level endeavors, the Mountaintop Initiative and the Racial Justice Advisory Committee. The Racial Justice Advisory Committee comprises a cross-section of faculty, staff, students, and administrators and alumni who are working to identify some of our greatest challenges and areas of need and to build a framework for addressing them. At the same time, the $2 million Mountaintop funds are being used to advance work through addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion across our campus. A portion of those funds are supporting the Professional Development Institute, a faculty staff training program focused on enhancing intercultural communications, and another portion will be used to develop a Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation Center on campus. As I noted when I announced these initiatives, we are committed to building a campus where everybody will flourish. It will take time, it will take effort, but we will not be deterred as we try to move forward as a campus. In addition, President Bott is going to be hosting a virtual spring celebration of scholarship and teaching. During this event, she'll present the 2019 and 2020 Distinguished Teaching Awards to two very deserving faculty members, Dr. Leah Omalon Hodges. The 2019 recipient is an Associate Professor of Communications in the School of Communications. And the 2020 honoree is Dr. Jeffrey Engels, Professor of Japanese and in the Department of World Languages and Literature. This is the highest honor given by the university to those who are not just exceptional educators, but also motivate and challenge their students while inspiring them to pursue lifelong learning. Both of these faculty members excel in this arena, and I'm pleased to join in the chorus celebrating and congratulating them for this honor. We're pleased to learn that the WMU Department of Public Safety has earned full accreditation status from the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission. Completing the rigorous accreditation required the department to comply with 105 different standards, participate in on-site assessment, and commit to ongoing compliance reporting. The department is one of only 34 out of nearly 600 agencies in the state that have earned the accreditation through the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police, the commission's governing body. In less than a month, we'll complete our 10-year comprehensive evaluation process through the Higher Learning Commission. The final step in the process is a modified site visit, which will take place April 12th and 13th. Maintaining the Higher Learning Condition accreditation is an important part of our ongoing work to ensure that we're striving towards providing a high-quality educational experience for our students. Completing the comprehensive evaluation is a major undertaking which requires campus-wide participation. I really want to single out for thanks Andrew Holmes, our Director of University Accreditation, as well as Adriana Reyes, Assistant Director of Institutional Accreditation, and Amanda Gear, the WMUX copywriter, who have done just exceptional work in guiding us through the entire process, and especially the final steps leading up through this visit, and particularly doing it in a time of the pandemic. Really want to express thanks to each of them in turn. With that, I will conclude my remarks and turn it back over to you, Chair Chinzang.
Thank you, President Montgomery. It's good to know that our campus is not wearing the masks. Majority of them, vast majority of them, not wearing the masks under the chin. I was in New York in the fall last year, and I have certainly witnessed there are many ways you can wear the mask as an accessory versus a protective gear. So very glad to hear that our campus is not doing any of that. I would now welcome representatives from our shared governance partners. We have with us today Ms. Marilyn Chrisman, Faculty Senate President, and Mr. Craig Morris, the Graduate Student Association President, and Ms. Taylor West, Western Student Association President. And we're going to first welcome Ms. Chrisman.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Chinzang, members of the board, President Montgomery, and valued colleagues. On behalf of the Faculty Senate, I thank you for this opportunity to share comments this morning. Just 1 year ago, the world as we knew it took a turn as the World Health Organization declared a little then known virus dubbed COVID-19 a global pandemic. Here on campus, our 3-week pause from in-person instruction stretched to a year-long and still evolving adventure in education. Classroom instruction flipped on a dime, and our classes and work meetings switched to Zoom and WebEx. Our dining rooms, kitchens, and bedrooms became offices. Pets joined our meetings. Small children, albeit unintentionally, streaked classes, and the great toilet paper shortage of 2020 made the news. We collectively watched friends, family, students, and colleagues battle COVID-19. Some prevailed and we celebrated. Some did not and we mourned. Science raced to find a shot that would curb the impact of the devastation of the last 12 months. When we faced the impossible, campus leaders came together to make the best possible decisions based on what we knew at the time. There were successes, there were mid-course corrections, and there may have been the need for a few do-overs. But regardless of what happened on any given day, we as Broncos persisted. As we move toward a revised normal on campus, may we never forget the lessons learned, the leadership given, and the grace extended during the past 12 months. On behalf of the Faculty Senate Executive Board, I extend appreciation and collective thanks to our colleagues for their Herculean efforts. Our country as the United States of America provides us the unparalleled opportunity for free speech. Higher education further provides faculty and scholars academic freedom in their classrooms and in their content area of expertise. Freedom of expression is one of the hallmarks of shared governance. The WMU Faculty Senate, as a designated partner in shared governance, is dedicated to fostering productive, vigorous, and meaningful dialogue and debate in an environment of civil discourse that respects various points of view. To guide our efforts and appreciate the meaning and practical application of that discourse as we strive to enhance the academy, the Senate has approved an aspirational civility statement back in 2016 that remains relevant today. I would like to share that with you now. Western Michigan University is committed to creating and sustaining an environment that honors the inherent dignity and worth of all members of the WMU community. Respectful behavior expressed verbally, textually, visually, and physically should be the norm in all university communication and venues, including classrooms, meetings, offices, workplaces, forums, events, social media, and residential communities. As an institution of higher education, we welcome a diverse range of perspectives and opinions, and we uphold the importance of civil debate. We fully support the free exchange of ideas and beliefs, as well as the expression of provocative and unpopular ideas. It is through this process that we generate knowledge and deepen our understanding of humanity. Freedom of thought and expression may create conflict, strong emotions, and divergent ideological positions. While these efforts are respected and welcome, all members of our community have the responsibility to behave in a manner that does not harm others nor create a hostile environment. Behavior that attacks, humiliates, belittles, or conveys hatred toward others diminishes our collective thriving and safe university environment. Each member of our academic community is encouraged to be thoughtful and sensitive in their choice of words and behaviors. We should be aware of how our behavior affects others. Furthermore, we carry a responsibility to challenge those who communicate intolerance, hatred, and bigotry. Words and actions matter. Everyone is asked to do their part in creating a healthy and positive university community and a culture that truly values each member's uniqueness, experience, and perspective. The Faculty Senate Executive Board affirms this statement. Civility must be woven into the fabric of the university's culture. We shared this at our most recent Faculty Senate meeting. We are sharing this with all of our councils and committees, and we're asking our colleagues to share this again in their classrooms and in their departments. The Faculty Senate Executive Board agreed to support our Office of Academic and Information Technology Council's recommendation from the Office of Information Technology to require two-factor authentication for all WMU employees when it comes to signing in to our technology. The Faculty Senate Executive Board accepted the last lecture series implementation plan at our most recent meeting. The last lecture series is a collaborative effort between the Faculty Senate, the President's Office, the Provost's Office, Marketing and Strategic Communication, and University Advancement. This newly created and ongoing initiative will provide retiring faculty an opportunity to share career closing thoughts with colleagues, students, alumni, family, and friends, as well as receiving recognition from the faculty when they complete their final lecture. A dedicated website where faculty can complete their online intent to participate is nearly ready to launch. The 2021 WMU Faculty Senate appraisal of the provost has concluded. The response rate was 33.3%, or 279 out of 840 eligible faculty and academic administrators. A copy of the numerical results was provided to Board Chair Chen Zhang. The Graduate Studies Council reviewed content and discussed its charge related to the development of a process to designate service learning status for graduate courses, while the International Education Council is busy working with the University College to incorporate global content into the programs of students with undetermined majors. As my comments come to an end today, I extend thanks and appreciation to the members of the councils and committees of the Senate for their time, their effort, and their hard work. I also want to thank Vice President Sarah Summey and members of the Senate Executive Board for their endless hours of meetings, collaboration, and problem solving. Together, we have achieved much. We have met nearly every week for the past year. The work of the Faculty Senate is true service to Western Michigan University as it comes on top of our normal workload. I am blessed and honored to have these fine men and women on my team and representing the faculty at Western Michigan University as the designated partner in shared governance. Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang, for this opportunity to address the board.
Thank you, Marilyn. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate the effort of the Faculty Senate and the work you have done to pivot our learning environment under this new pandemic situation, and to have to make this virus have a minimum impact in the experience of our students. It's not an easy task, but you truly have done an outstanding job, our entire faculty and community. So for that, we deeply appreciate. And also, I just want to echo what you have said in the statement. I think the conversations, we progress through open conversations, inclusive conversations, even though some of the conversations might make us sometimes feel uncomfortable, but it's very much needed to bring our mentality, to bring our realization forward. So thank you for that effort. Next, we are going to hear from Mr. Craig Morris.
Chair Chen Zhang, if we could, oh, there's Craig. Thank you. President Morris, thank you.
All right, there we go. All right, good morning, everyone. Taylor, I think we got switched up, but hey, it works. All right, good morning, everyone. To our board, to our administrators, faculty, and staff, a pleasant morning to you all. I hope this morning didn't throw you off, because all week we've been having beautiful sunshine, and this morning we got gloomy, but welcome to Southwest Michigan. Thank you for having me, and I'm happy to share thoughts and remarks from the Graduate Student Association. Now, this year has been nothing but unprecedented, but we are continuing to support our university mission of being learner-centered, research-driven, and globally engaged. Through that, the Graduate Student Association has engaged in programming and advocacy efforts to advance graduate education and graduate student community here at WMU. Some of what we have been involved in, we have partnered with the Western Student Association in hosting the Mental Health Week for Spring 2021. And this event, this week-long event, was a success. It gave our students opportunity to come out, to be engaged, to see faces that they haven't seen. And to top it off, the therapy dogs were, I think, the best of the week's event. We've also, through the Graduate Student Association and WSA, catered to our students by making mental health bags where we have stress balls, gratitude journals, masks, protective gears, and this too was a success for our students. It was an effort to show our students that we are thinking about them and we are trying our best to ensure that they get through this year in a very safe and sound way. Our 3-minute thesis competition has been concluded for the spring semester. Our students, this is where our students get 3 minutes to present their research on one side. This year, though we were virtual, this event still continued and we had our students participating and we have over 8 winners this year. Not having done it for fall and we did one just in spring, we were able to increase or compensation to our students who participated in the 3-minute thesis competition. Our research, we have been gathering through, and I want to say thank you to the Research Policy Council, as through that council, we have garnered a greater support for our Hilltop Review Journal. We were a bit in panic mode when students weren't submitting their papers, but through partnership and collaboration, we have gotten the word out and our students are sending in their application, their papers to be included in this year's edition of our Hilltop Review Journal. For those of you who don't know, the Hilltop Review Journal is a graduate student-led journal, interdisciplinary journal hosted here at WMU. We continue to engage our students and ask that they tap into the funding resources that we have available for them. At the Graduate Student Association, we have the certification grant, conference grant, data collection grant, and we have seen an increase this year in students who apply for the data collection grant. It means that research is being conducted despite our current situation, and we are pleased for that. We continue to partner with different entities and departments across campus. In our efforts of diversity and inclusion, we work with the Racial Advisory Council. We are also working with the International Activities Office. And as I talk about the International Activities Office, I like to highlight and make known that the Graduate Student Association condemns every form of discrimination against our students, our Asian students who are on campus. They play a significant part in making our campus multicultural, and we do not tolerate any form of discrimination. Student Affairs, we are in discussion with our Student Affairs partners and WSA around the allocation of our student assessment fee moving forward. This fee helps to protect and sustain funding for our student programming and advocacy to make our campus fun and the place of choice for study for all students. And while we are on this, I'd like to give gratitude. Gratitude should be practiced. And as Marilyn spoke just now, we have to highlight those around us who continue to support us so that we can be successful. We highlight our faculty. Many of our faculty this year was thrown off the ball, but they stepped up, they did their best, and they ensured that we had the mechanisms in place to ensure that our students could continue and complete their education. And we say a big thank you to our faculty, to our staff who supports our faculty and support our students. Many thanks from the Graduate Student Association. Your efforts is noted, and we use this opportunity publicly to express our gratitude to you. Through the Faculty Senate Councils, we say thanks to Marilyn and the team again this year for your ongoing support. Your work through the Graduate Studies Council and the Research Policy Council, and also the International Studies Council has ensured that our grad students' efforts and graduate education is being advanced here on our WMU community. Overall, we like to say thank you, and thank you for having me this week today.
Well, we would like to say thank you, President Morris. Very well said, gratitude, and we want to express our gratitude to you, to the Graduate Student Association, for all the activities that you have held and are holding for our students to make sure their continued involvement and advancement in academics and in all the areas in the mental health. So under this pandemic, and I assure you, I know I've said that before, but truly it is at this point, the light is at the end of the tunnel. We can see that. Thank you. And next we're going to hear from Taylor West. Good to see you, Taylor.
Good morning, everybody, and good morning, board. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. Also, happy Thursday. Is it snowing? Is it raining? Do we wear shorts or sweaters? I don't even know, but I guess that's what we get for living in the Midwest. I appreciate the board for allowing my executive vice president to step in for me for the last couple of meetings while I attended to my internship duties, but it's good to see you all virtually. Student life at WMU has stepped into a lull standpoint as students are regaining energy after midterms, also while preparing for spring break. First year students continue to find their niche and path as they look for places to live come next year. Some sophomores and juniors are finding their passions and looking for more ways to get involved in the community at WMU. And seniors, although very disheartened at the inability to walk across the stage for graduation, are preparing to take the next steps in their future, applying to graduate schools, jobs, internships, etc. Students of color are still finding ways to encourage and empower the dissipation of systemic racism at WMU. The recent incident of vandalism at the Gilmore Complex to inequitable and inconsistent policies regarding discrimination under Title IX gives WSA and all shared governance partners the ability to mend the frequent and racially discriminative images portrayed to our community. Due to the recent conversation circling around the conflict of interest relationship between WSA and residence life, I think it's important to bring this conflict to the board's attention. Serving as a 6-semester resident assistant and involved in student government for 4 of those semesters, there are concerns of whether or not a conflict of interest will arise if students are to fulfill both of those roles. Having the honor to be the first student in this dual role, WSA and Residence Life have conversations scheduled to find the best possible solution for students to follow their dreams and achieve the impossible, like I was encouraged to do. On to updates. Since the last update in January, the Western Student Association has continued to find new ways for students to stay engaged, informed, and empowered. Mental Health Week was a success. Students were pleased with the opportunities to learn more about their mental health, as well as participate in activities such as therapy dogs, virtual yoga, and stuffing stuffed animals to prepare for midterms. Cabinet members have partnered with our amazing and dedicated administrative champions to carry out our student-led social justice fund aimed to eliminate educational disparities for Black and Brown students, also while raising WMU's retention and graduation rates for those said students. This initiative is broken up to satisfy 4 components for effective change: creation of new scholarship and affinity spaces, expansion of undergraduate research opportunities, and analyzing policies in place for the retention and recruitment of faculty of color. We hope to have some of the components of this fund launched by summer 2. This serves as a personal invitation for all members of the board to join students in the effort to dissipate educational disparities at WMU. Just in a few weeks, WMU will execute their annual Giving Day. The Student-Led Social Justice Fund has been added as an option for donation, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we hope that all those listening and in attendance today can take the time to support this initiative. Student leaders on this year's WSA administration and those on the President's Cabinet have successfully hosted another joint cabinet meeting together. In this discussion, we were able to get updates from select vice presidents on efforts being made to better our university and students' lives through financial support and different lobbying advancements. We were also able to open up discussion to analyze the current university mission statement in hopes of reworking it together to become more reflective of the intentions of our community. Our Vice President for Sustainability has held WSA accountable when negotiating and fighting for environmental justice, ending environmental racism while advancing sustainability. With the firm backing from our administration, the university has resurrected the Carbon Neutrality Committee to assist our university in becoming a champion and ending the climate crisis for humanity. As leaders, it's important to raise consciousness on the short-term harmful effects and more permanent long-term effects that climate change can have on our generation and generations to come. Our Vice President for Sustainability has successfully used her platform in collaboration with the Office for Sustainability to host the first annual Student Sustainability Summit with 70+ participants engaged and passionate towards ending the climate crisis. We have more projects scheduled this semester underway to educate, empower, and lead students towards positive change, as well as some fun ones. Mark your calendars for these following events. We have our second part of our environmental justice panel event today at 4, and you can do that on our YouTube channel. We have our Dinner with the Delegates annual event this Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. I will see some of you there. And then the day after, on the 20th, we have our WSA prom, our Western waltz, as we like to call it, and I definitely will see some of you there as well. If you missed any of our meetings this year, you're able to view them on our YouTube channel. This semester alone has been jam-packed with presenters and speakers to inform students on volunteering, business, and engagement opportunities. Last but not least, elections are underway. The student body president and vice presidential debates took place just last night, as both slates were able to promote their platforms while answering live questions from students about their passion and plans for WSA. Voting takes place on Monday, and yes, it's okay to get a little bit emotional because my time's coming to an end. I know I'm emotional taking a trip down memory lane, reminiscing about the last 2 successful campaigns. Don't get me started. Anyways, I'm looking forward to addressing you all one last time to introduce the next Commander-in-Chief to tackle another year of transformative change. In an effort to remind and encourage the board's participation to join the fight to end systemic racism at WMU, I leave you with the same quote uplifted from my speech in May from Malcolm X. If not now, when? And if not you, who? Thank you.
Thank you, President West. And we appreciate your efforts to help to get the students engaged, informed, and empowered. As I told Jacoby last time, whatever your effort to pass the messages to your fellow students is 10 times, and that might be even understatement, 10 times powerful than what we said, because we all know at that age who they listen to. So thank you very much for your effort. And next, we're going to hear from Vice President Diane Anderson for I love that picture, for the very much anticipated work about the frontline workers have done. Kayla, do we have Vice President Anderson?
We do now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That was my bad, sorry. I am really excited about this opportunity to share the amazing work that our dedicated healthcare professionals at Syracuse Health Center have accomplished this year. The work that they have done to allow our university to remain open to serve our students has been truly outstanding. I would like to share a brief video highlighting many of their accomplishments. At the conclusion of the video, I will share some additional comments prior to introducing our medical director, Dr. Gail Ruggiero. As you have just seen in the video, our frontline healthcare providers have not missed a beat. They moved quickly in order to position us to rapidly respond. We were the first public institution in the state to have the ability to provide rapid test results within our very own health center. Under Gail's leadership, we developed a comprehensive approach with our daily screener that gave us the ability to identify hotspots early so we could proactively intervene. Our healthcare providers have been on campus weekdays, weekends, and holidays to provide tests so our students can continue to participate in their respective academic and co-curricular programs. Our team of dedicated healthcare professionals is led by Dr. Gail Ruggiero. Prior to the pandemic, I told everyone how fortunate we were to have Dr. Ruggiero at the helm. She is a psychiatrist. Psychiatrists are in short supply. We are so fortunate to have a psychiatrist at the helm because, as you know, mental health issues are a huge issue for college students across the country. My colleagues across the state are jealous that we had a psychiatrist on our team, and we have a psychiatrist leading our team. So we are really very fortunate. So already I was very, very grateful about that. Enter the pandemic and watch our medical director take the ball and run with it. Now the rest of the campus community and our county health professionals know how fortunate we are. Gail and her team have provided exemplary leadership and competence, dedication and compassion that has allowed Western Michigan University, to remain open with full confidence, knowing we are in good hands. I want to publicly thank Gail for her extraordinary leadership during this challenging year. Gail is going to acknowledge her team members, but before I turn the virtual mic to Gail, would you please join me in a warm round of Bronco applause for our dedicated and talented healthcare professionals who put themselves at risk time after time so that WMU can continue its mission so all may learn. Please join me in a round of applause, or I'm going to do fun one. Thank you. Gail, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Diane. And thank you for the opportunity to share with the members of the board, some of the very valuable members of our healthcare team. We're pretty small, but we're a pretty mighty little group, and we feel really proud of what we've been able to accomplish this year. We're very lucky to have Jessica Slates as our nursing director. She's been a passionate member of our healthcare team and invaluable to me and the clinical team and partners in the community to make a safe and efficient system of evaluating, testing, and contact tracing our WMU community members. This has helped us to do same-day contact tracing and multiple mass testing events with rapid results throughout the academic year, with our record-breaking event of testing 800 WMU employees and students prior to Thanksgiving break. I feel this instilled some confidence in family and loved ones, as well as the students, that they would not be inadvertently compromising their loved one's health returning home. This amazing clinical team at Syndicuse has tested over 31,000 people from the start of COVID until the beginning of March, and they continue to rise to that occasion. I'm proud of the commitment the staff has taken to help keep the university open and provide support to multiple programs to keep those students engaged, learning, and growing. The staff has tested athletics, club sports, aviation, and other allied health professional programs and answered multiple questions to ensure that there's always have a health professionals to guide their choices. Thank you, Jessica, for your never-ending energy to accomplish these truly amazing tasks. Another member of our healthcare team at Syndicuse that I want to share with you is Joe Vanderbos, our patient experience manager. Joe has become our point person for aiding in the connection of our WMU community members to local vaccine clinics. When the health department requested that employers help to organize and provide information to them for vaccines, WMU did not waver on their commitment to their faculty, staff, and students. We have learned from others that this advocacy is greatly appreciated. Joe and his team have aided not only in answering on average 191 calls a day, starting from the fall semester until late December, but in coordinating information on behalf of 6,000 WMU community members to the county health department for vaccination. In addition, we continue to be at the ready when our vaccine supply will arrive, and we can continue that effort here on campus. Thank you, Joe, for all of your devotion and unending patience as we continue to pivot our needs to our community. We could never have accomplished this without you. These are just two of my partners in health at Syndicuse. We alone could not have accomplished these tasks. Standing with us are our fellow Syndicuse employees throughout all our departments, helping in any way they could to support our mission. Additionally, is with the support and trust of the university administration, the help of IT and IR to create our dashboards, and the faculty, staff, and students that have answered multiple screener surveys on campus, worn masks and socially distanced, that we were able to round out a one-of-a-kind year. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you my talented team of healthcare enthusiasts.
Thank you, Gail. So as you can see, we've got a small but mighty team, as Gail said. So once again, we just thank you for all of your extraordinary work. And we're hoping this soon will not be necessary, but we have a ways to go yet. I know there's light at the end of the tunnel, but we're not quite there. So thank you. We appreciate for all the work that you've done and you're continuing to do.
Thank you, Vice President Anderson. Honestly, those numbers, listening to those numbers, and thank you, Gail, those numbers literally give me goosebumps. Actually, I got very emotional when I was watching the video. Just, you know, it's I know we're not totally out of the woods yet, but it's a look, just walking down the memory lane, just get me very emotional. Just know how much our community have done together. It's truly a joint effort of, you know, with Gail, your small and mighty group, and with all the efforts all across the campus, and we made it to be successful so far. So we just need to hold on for a little while, then we will be there out of the woods. So we will toast to that when that happens. I don't think we have any action items. So, but we are having some consent items. At this time, I'm going to ask, would anyone like to remove any of the consent items for further discussion? Hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Chair Chen Zhang, if I could please do a voice vote for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Just because we are virtual, I'll run through quickly. So again, on the consent items, Chair Chen Zhang,
Yes.
Trustee Edgerton,
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Kitchens,
Yes.
Trustee Penn,
Yes.
Trustee Reinvelt,
Yes.
Trustee Trevan,
Yes.
Trustee Turfy,
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, consent items pass.
Thank you, Secretary Schuman. Do we have any public comments?
We do, Chair Chen Zhang. There are 3 individuals. Actually, we are at 4 individuals now interested in addressing the board that made prior arrangement. Could we please go with Catherine Elise first?
Okay, thank you.
Catherine, you're live with the board. Please feel free and share your commentary. We still have you on mute, Catherine. Are you able to take your mute off?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? All right. So first, thank you to Lin Chen Jing for acknowledging our experience as Asian women, especially in 2020, and how we are mourning the events in Atlanta. You really are an inspiration to me, especially through my time in the Hayworth College of Business. So thank you. It's really cool to see you where you are. Okay. So here's my story as a Chinese American queer woman at Western. When I was a child and I got, frustrated about something, I would say to my mother, "It's not fair." And then she would say to me, as any parent would say, "Well, life's not fair." And then, of course, I, as a stubborn kid, would say to her, "Well, we can make it fairer." And so fast forward, here I am at a university talking to you to consider making something fairer. I am here to share my lived experience as a student who endured repeated, targeted accounts of racism and sexism from an all-white, all-male jazz faculty. My story was shared over and over alongside Black student Trayvon Williams, and our story has taken us everywhere we could possibly turn inside this institution, and I wanted to share that with you. So after experiencing what we did with this specific professor and gathering all of our evidence and our stories, we started by talking to him personally over and over with no change. Then I went to the current director of the School of Music, who was an East Asian man who I told him my story, but because it was a part of the music culture to be passionate, and then use that to essentially emotionally abuse others, he found no problem with it and racially gaslighted me, saying that my experiences had nothing to do with race, according to his opinion, and that, it didn't matter to him. After that, we went to the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, who also at the front desk racially gaslighted me and told me that this story didn't have anything to do with what they could help me with, and they didn't even want to talk to me. I went to the school ombudsman, who was out of the office for 2 weeks and never got back to me. And then both Trayvon and I filled out a form with the Office of Institutional Equity to do an investigation, which is supposed to last at most about 60 days. It lasted 6 months. It was dragged out without them telling us why the investigation was taking so long. And then they took all of our evidence and threw it out, completely disregarded our story, and handed it over to the teachers union, who, without any evidence or any reason, sent us a quick email saying that there was no evidence of discrimination whatsoever. So what happened to our story? On behalf of students that endure discrimination at this university, we can show the next generation of students that they are worthy of protection against any lived experiences of oppression. By beginning a conscious pattern of justice, we are pioneering hope to our students that when they move forward beyond our walls, the rest of the world is also creating a clear path to equity. So this begins with streamlining actually the overabundance of resources that's offered to students when they want to report their experiences, as the action itself of telling our story is re-traumatizing, so that our students' voices, our voices shouldn't be exhausted into silence, but hopefully lifted into action. This begins with examining our curriculum so that our courses are set up for tangible, real-world success, as well as offer a space to pursue projects and internships that allow us to expand the legacy of WMU outside these walls. And this begins with examining the Teachers Union AAUP contract so that the university can actually hold their staff accountable for actions that are proven to perpetuate targeted emotional or physical abuse. At WMU, after all we went through, I still have enough pride as a Bronco to think that we have a chance to begin an intentional pattern of equity for these students who will inevitably continue to face setbacks related to their identity in the modern American world. As I step away with my diploma and my cords in hand as a graduate of 2020, I want to leave with the pride that the students behind me will experience a legacy that protects their dignity through conscious action. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. I want to first by saying we hear you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and experience today. It truly demonstrates bravery and a desire for Western to be an institution known for its culture of respect for all. Growing up, my mom and I had the same conversation you and your mom had when I said, it's not fair. And my mom said, the world is not fair. And I would say, well, we need to make an effort to make it fair. And I think a lot of what I'm doing today is to carry out my statement, to support my statement to my mother. We are making this the world fair. So we share that desire. We are committed to promoting a safe, unbiased, and a welcome learning environment. As part of that, we must continuously work to identify and address areas for improvement. The president noted earlier in the meeting that there are several university-wide initiatives underway to strengthen and improve our campus culture as it relates to inclusion, equity, and diversity. There are also a divisional initiative in progress too. So these efforts have broad-based involvement with students, faculty, and the staff, leading change to the power in future to make this world a better and a more inclusive place for everyone. We know that we have the capacity to better live out of our values as a university, and the board is committed to working with people across campus that at every level to help achieve these objectives. So my word, Kathleen, to you is sometimes we do have some pushbacks of our efforts. We don't always, but never ever give up. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being such an inspiration. And I really hope that you take these specific action items to heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Chen Zhang, we have Sarah Zagree next, please. Sarah? Hey, Sarah, you're on mute. Sarah, you're welcome to address the board now. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address you all today. I will say first that I'm here in support of Catherine Taylor and Jessica, but will add to their sentiments with a few other concerns as well. So I'm a 2013 graduate of WMU, but I actually grew up in the School of Music. My dad, Steve Zagree, was on faculty for 34 years as a member of the piano and jazz departments. And now I work as a high school choir and vocal jazz director in Chicago. During my time as a student, the music ed curriculum was already decades behind, but imagine my surprise when, after staying in touch with more recent graduates and even some former students of mine currently in the program, saying that the curriculum hasn't changed at all. Teachers are under a microscope right now, as you all know, and WMU is sending out students who are describing themselves as feeling underprepared to enter the field. Another red flag for me was talking to colleagues in Southwest Michigan who have traditionally taken student teachers from the WMU Music Ed program. Students were coming to them so underprepared that they told me they would no longer accept a student teacher from WMU. This should be concerning to anyone paying attention. What makes things even worse is that myself and my classmates attempted to address these issues while we were students. We observed and experienced wrongs happening across music departments, and concerns were usually dismissed. My classmates of color were disproportionately affected by this. Twice, I met with the director of the School of Music to discuss issues regarding auditions, retention, and curriculum. To my knowledge, some of these changes have been implemented, but look how the problems persist to this day. Not just in the School of Music, but in the wider College of Fine Arts. When these institutions do not respond or attempt to hold themselves accountable, it's embarrassing and telling. Until true accountability is pursued by the School of Music and the College of Fine Arts and the university, I have trouble supporting any of these institutions. As an alumna, patron, and contributor to student scholarships, and maybe most importantly, as a current educator who keeps her eye on the programs that would be most appropriate for my students someday, I want to be proud of my alma mater more than anything. I'm always available to continue these discussions and have been for 10 years. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sarah, for your comments, and we will continue the discussions.
Chair Chen Zhang, our next speaker is Jessica. Maybe Jessica. Jessica, we don't have video, but let me confirm audio. You're on mute. Are you able to take audio? Yep, there you go.
Okay, there we go.
Great.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you all for the opportunity to speak. I also would like to echo that I'm here in support of Catherine. I'll start by just giving you a little bit of background about how my role in this sort of began. I am a 2019 graduate of Western School of Music, and I was reached out to by Trayvon Williams, who was a close friend of mine during our degree program. And as a jazz student, he faced so much discrimination and just so many issues with microaggressions, with lack of faculty support, with lack of representation in master classes and curriculum, and just across the board frustration as a Black person in the jazz department. So after the racial issues and the sort of political climate of 2020 in the summer came to rise, we saw that one of the professors that was really at the center of many of his issues and just difficulties, frustrations, and a lot of that discrimination was getting praise, was getting press, was in the news for starting a fundraising initiative for Black Lives Matter. So it just felt like a huge slap in the face and just a disregarding of everything that he had gone through, everything that he was still working through as an alum, as he was just working a job trying to heal from the pain of his degree program, didn't feel prepared, didn't really feel validated in his musical autonomy, really just revisiting the trauma of even sitting down at the piano, the things that he would remember the professor would say in his lessons and just things like that, that really just hindered him from even pursuing music after graduation. So as we started seeing more of these things, he just asked me, have you seen what's going on? Like with Greg, have you seen these things? And I came across this response from the School of Music that I'll read to you all now that really was the catalyst for the student organizing that happened in the summertime. First and foremost, we as the jazz faculty at Western Michigan University earnestly acknowledge our failure at standing up for and alongside our students of color, not just at the news of George Floyd's murder, but at all of the ways in which they encounter racism. This statement is long overdue and in no way absolves us from our responsibility as mentors, artists, and leaders of this community. Students, we are grateful for your courage in calling us out in our silence. We admire your willingness to have these difficult conversations. You are right. We can, and we pledge to do better. We humbly accept your guidance and perspective as we move forward together. So with that statement, we took that as an invitation to really sort of pursue this justice, so to speak, or pursue responsibility for the things that we've encountered. Because again, we experienced what we did. We survived the program. We are now trying to just heal from them, are holding each other up in community. And then we pursue these letters. The primary goal for these letters that we crafted with Catherine's letter, with Trayvon's letter, and with much of the social media rise that came when they were released was catharsis overall, right? Wanting to move forward, but not really having a high expectation that the university or the School of Music would really do anything in response to it. So there was pushback, there was hours and hours of organization and attempts to include alumni and current students, and just the layers of fear and experience to even go forward with something like writing a letter of your experience and releasing it on social media, or sending it to the School of Music faculty, or having there was no clear path other than the OIE investigation to file this complaint. So we released the letter on social media for the cathartic standpoint, and also formally complained with the investigation. And as Catherine said, nothing came of it, which is what we expected. But it's just as we are here in this meeting as sort of the last step on that bureaucratic ladder of, I mean, we've said everything we can. We've done everything on our end. We've already paid for our education, and here we still are. So I read that to you all just as a reminder that they said they would accept our guidance. They thanked us for even calling them out, because this this response was because a student asked faculty members, why haven't we said anything in light of everything that's happened? Right. So just as I stand here to echo what Catherine said and really just support her diligence in this, because especially as a Black person, it just gets so tiring, taxing, and overwhelming while simultaneously surviving in every other system and institution that we find ourselves. Trayvon, who wrote the letter, has wanted to wash his hands of this forever, and the investigation still just kept going on with no result. So I just stand here with Catherine to thank her and to applaud her for continuing on, and just to speak to you all about the work that I personally did, the work that many of the people that we were organizing with. There hours and hours and hours, news reports that were never aired because the university never got a comment, or never commented. Just all of these loopholes and just tireless energy and writing and editing spent, which feels like for nothing. So I appreciate the time and thank you for the encouragement of never giving up. But I hope you all hear the frustration and the defeat that sort of overshadows everything that we've done while we were students, while we were diligent alumni, and the microscope was put on these teachers and this issue, and even today. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Jessica. As I stated before, we are committed to promoting a safe, unbiased, and working and a welcoming learning environment for everyone. And our board is committed to working with people across campus at every level to help achieving this objective. So thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Chair Chen Zhang, we have one more speaker slated, Mr. Jacoby Wright.
Okay.
Jacoby, you're welcome to address the board. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would first like to thank the board for allowing me to address you all today. First and foremost, I would like to indicate to the board that the Western Student Association stands with Catherine and Trayvon. Today, I am coming to you as Jacoby Wright, a concerned student. However, I am also coming to you as Jacoby Wright, student body vice president, as a dangerously concerned student leader. As President West mentioned during her speech, rumblings have occurred around the policy end of residence life and the resident assistance program. Let me be the first to acknowledge that this does not directly relate to the board's fiduciary duties, but let me be the first to acknowledge that it has the potential to indirectly. The policies that I am coming to you all about today include specific verbiage within the resident assistant contracts. It is as follows, quote, any off-campus or on-campus involvement, additional roles and responsibilities in organizations, or extra academic commitments I choose to partake in must be approved in advance and must not interfere with the responsibilities of this position, end quote. Pretty straightforward policy, understandable even, but why is this only now being enforced? Taylor has served as an RA while being both president and vice president of WSA, and no questions were ever raised. Throughout our very eventful time in office, we have been very hard at work for our students, including RAs. The inside perspective that we have had allows us to apply pressure and secure, at the very minimum, free COVID testing for our resident assistants. To us, this feels like a preventable measure from residents' life to stop student advocacy from within their walls, especially since this policy was brought up only after one of this year's presidential candidates was selected to serve as an RA. I'm going to be as straightforward as I can possibly be. This is the most striking example of abuse of power that I have seen while in this position. I also feel that this may come across this way for those who aren't involved. While we have attempted to gain more insight into this policy, questions that we have are still unable to be answered by residents' life. While we have attempted to gain more information about why, we have heard that, quote, I think it's too much for one person, or quote, I believe we should spread the wealth. Instead of allowing students to, one, represent their students in multiple capacities, and 2, provide housing accommodation for themselves, we are forwarded to our internal pay structure. I am here to say that student fees should not have to provide for something that an individual could obtain with an assistantship. We say that we are learner-centered, but this is a prime example of stifling growth and professional development opportunities for our students. You all should care because, as I said, this can have an indirect effect on enrollment. If activity like this continues to occur, I cannot say that I or others will recommend this institution as one where students will have the complete ability to grow into whatever they want because there are obvious barricades. We say that we stand for diversity and inclusion. Well, this is blatant discrimination of housing and financial proportions. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Chair Chen Zhang, that concludes the speakers that indicated interest. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that concludes our meetings. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Meeting adjourned. See you soon. Stay safe and healthy.